Friends, welcome back. Here is our next case study number 12 from ICI booklet on case studies and MCQ questions of CA Final Paper 3 Audit. Okay, let's go through the case study. QRP Life Care Private Limited is engaged in the business of pharmaceuticals. The company is based in Hyderabad and has an annual turnover of 400 crores. One of the directors of the company did not give declaration to the company under section 164 subsection 2 of the Companies Act 2013. As at 31st of March 2020, the auditors of the company completed their audit of the financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2020 and were awaiting this declaration. But the management was of the view that they will not be able to receive this declaration. All other directors had given the required declaration and the auditors also verified that. 2016 for carrying out certain projects. The net worth of the subsidiary has eroded substantially as at 31st of March 2020, and looking at the future projections, there was no certainty regarding profitability of the subsidiary in the future years. QRP has another subsidiary, SPS Limited, in UK. The company had outstanding trade receivables amounting to 10 crore from SPS. QRP observed that there have been some FEMA non-compliances on the part of QRP, but the management had an action plan which they had initiated, and on the basis of which management was sure that the non-compliance would be done good and there will be no penalty on the company. In case the penalty arises in future, the impact will be significant for QRP. The auditors of QRP also evaluated this matter by involving regulatory matters expert and agreed with the management's view. QRP was using a customized ERP package up to 31st of March 2019. However, with effect from 1st of April 2019, QRP moved to SAP ERP package considering the increase in the size of operations of QRP. The auditors of QRP were of the view that for the financial year ended on 31st March 2020, being the first year of SAP implementation, no work on IT controls would be required, as they were also evaluating to qualify report on IFC, because on the basis of their experience on other clients in the past, they found that the IT controls in the first year of ERP implementation were very weak. On the basis of the above facts, your deal with the matter relating to non-receipt of declaration under section 164 subsection 2 of the Companies Act, that is the director's representation. Okay, right? If director is not giving, then they should think reporting this matter in their audit report, right? We'll go through the options. Option A says auditor may perform alternate procedures in respect of non-receipt of declaration under section 164 subsection 2 of the Companies Act. Is that so? Even if he performs alternate procedures also, he need to obtain such declaration. Option B says if the auditor have been able to verify that all directors except one have given the required declaration as per the Companies Act, it shall be ignored by the auditors on the basis of materiality. Is that so? Can that be ignored? No. So option B is also wrong. Option C says there is no reporting requirement due to non-receipt of declaration. Is there any declaration that is is there any implication on the auditor? Yes, he need to report that matter in his audit report, right? But here option C says there is no reporting implication, so option C is also wrong. Next, option D says auditor would need to report this matter in their main report. Yes, main report means audit report, right? Option D is the right answer for this question. We'll go through the next question, question number 12.2. How should the auditors of QRP deal with the matter relating to erosion of net worth of RPS? Is there any reporting implication for the same? Yes, they need to give a qualified opinion, right? They need to say that since RPS Limited is having a dues that need to be repaid to QRP Limited for the financial right? This is what the reporting implications on the part of auditor. We'll go through the options. Option A says, in respect of QRP, there is no reporting implication on the parts of auditor. Is that so? No. Auditor has to report regarding the non-recoverability of the debt. Option B says, in respect of QRP, auditors of QRP would need to give an emphasis of matter in their report considering the uncertainty involved relating to the profitability of RPS. Is this a small matter? Is this what the auditor has to give? No. It is not like auditor giving an unqualified opinion and reporting the matter in emphasis of matter paragraph. He need to give his qualified opinion and he should give such qualification in respect of non-recoverability of debt from RPS Limited. We'll go through the other option. Option C says, in respect of QRP, auditors of QRP would need to give a qualification in respect of non-recovery of advances from RPS if the adjustment entry is not recorded in the books. Yes, if the same is not recorded in the books, then auditor has to give qualified opinion in his report, right? But still, this seems to be correct option, but still we'll go through the other option. Option D says, in respect of explaining about the recoverability of advances from RPS Limited. Just because management has given in their notes, does not remove the responsibility of auditor. Therefore, he need to give a qualified opinion if the same is not recorded in the book. So, option C is the correct answer. We'll go through the next question, question number 12.3, which says, do you agree with the way auditors have handled the matter relating to FEMA non-compliances? How would you deal with this matter? How would you deal with this matter? Do you think auditor has handled it appropriately? Yes, because he involved other professionals and finally he have arrived at an opinion, right? We'll go through the options. Option A says, auditor did not handle this matter appropriately. Is that so? No. Auditor has handled the matter appropriately and the management would need to include this matter in the notes to accounts, right? We'll go through the other option. Option B says, auditors handled this matter appropriately. The management would need to include this matter in the notes to accounts to the financial statements. Yes, this is the correct option, right? But still we'll go through other options. We'll see which is the most appropriate answer. Auditors handled this matter appropriately, but they would also need to include modification in their report because the impact of penalty is levied can be material. If levied can be material. See, and management also has taken the advices of experts and they believed that even if in the extreme cases if there is a penalty, then it will be huge, right? So or management is certain that the benefit will be given, that there is no penalty that is going to be borne by the company. Therefore option C is wrong, right? We'll go through option D. Auditors could have handled this matter in a better manner by also involving a tax expert because this might result in penalty and that may have some taxation impact of the company. So involving a tax expert in this matter and deciding upon the tax on the such penalties and all, that is not at all required because it is straightforward asking whether auditor has handled good or and the management has given their responsibility of reporting in their financial statements. So option B is the right option. We'll go through the other question. Question number 12.4. QRP has been preparing consolidated financial statements, but they did not consolidate financial statements of SPS every year. This is because the financial year followed by SPS is January to December as against April to March followed by QRP. The auditors have also been fine with this position of the management of the QRP year on year. Please suggest. Can they ignore any particular subsidiary? No. They need to include all the subsidiaries. Right? We'll go through the options and we'll decide the final option. Option A says QRP needs to prepare consolidated financial statements by also consolidating SPS. In case this is not done, the auditor need to qualify their report on consolidated financial statements. Is a different financial year, you need to take the appropriate period, proportionate period, and prepare the financial statements. We'll go through other options as well. Option B says QRP needs to prepare consolidated financial statements by also consolidating SPS. In case this is not done, the auditor need to give emphasis of matter paragraph in their report on consolidated financial statements. Is that so? No. Auditor should straight away give a qualified opinion. When will you give emphasis of matter paragraph? Only when you feel that the entire financial statements are true and fair and there is no matter to qualify, then you will give an unqualified opinion, but still you will make the users to identify one particular point which is very important for making decisions. Only then you will write in emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, the name itself is saying emphasize. You need to emphasize on this particular matter in order to make decisions of investments, right? So this option is wrong. We'll go through option C. QRP's management's view is right. Is that so? No. They need to include all the subsidiaries, irrespective of the financial year followed by them. Right? We'll go through other option. Auditors of QRP should have done materiality assessment in respect of non-consolidation of SPS in the consolidated financial statements. The auditor should ask the management to include a note in the consolidated financial statements and also take management representation for the same. Does taking a management representation avoid the responsibility of auditor? No. Therefore, option A is the correct option. We'll go through the other question number 12.5. Do you agree with the view of auditors of QRP regarding not testing IT control? What would be your suggestion here? What would be your suggestion? Can they take so? Depending upon the other client's experience, can they decide on this client? No. They need to reconduct the process, right? We will go through the options. Auditors have precedence on the basis of which they have formed a opinion view. They have formed a view that is completely acceptable. However, the auditors would need to document this properly in their audit files. No, just because they have a view on how the implementation will be there in the first year of software change, that doesn't make any matter. You need to reconduct and the circumstances will change from client to client. We'll go through the other option. Option B says the auditor need to perform procedures before forming any view. Any such precedence of other clients cannot be taken for QRP without performing any procedure by the auditors. Yes, this is the correct option. You cannot take the precedence of other clients on the QRP. You need to reconduct the entire process and then form an opinion. Okay. Option B is the correct option, but still we'll go through other options. Option C says auditors have precedence on the basis of which they have formed a view, and that is fine as far as they don't want to test the IT controls. Is that fine? No. They need to reconduct. Just because you have a precedence of the view of your previous clients, that doesn't matter, right? We'll go through the other option. Auditors have precedence on the basis of which they have formed a view, and that is fine as they don't want to test the IT controls. However, instead of qualification, disclaimer would be appropriate in the IF. They are taking the precedence of previous clients. You need to assess internal controls for each and every client independently. You can't take the viewpoint of other clients on a QRP, right? Therefore, option B is the right option. I had a question relating to question number 1, case study number 1. I'll quickly open it. Just give me a second. Yes, here you go with our case study number 1. In this question, it has been said that here, see, the trade payables consist of outstanding dues of various creditors as follows. Micro enterprises 60 crore, medium enterprises 40 crores, small enterprises 45 crores, and others is 50 crores. Further, the creditors outstanding for more than 6 months as on the balance sheet date are 40 crores out of the above. Right? You can either assume this 40 crores out of others in the above point, or you can either assume this 40 crores out of the MSME. So there are two possibilities. If you assume that 40 crores is out of 50, others 50, then the dues to MSME will be 145 crore. However, in the first division 1 of schedule 3 will identify MSME dues of less than 6 months. So we'll minus this 40 crores from this 60 plus 40 plus 45. Therefore, the answer will be 105 crores. If you assume, provided if you assume that this 40 crores is from MSME, and if you assume that this 40 crores is out of the others which was specified above, others 50 crores, then the answer will be different. Therefore, we'll go through the question. This question number 1.3, what amount of dues of trade payables shall be separately disclosed in the balance sheet as per division 1 of schedule 3? So the answer can be 105 crores option B, or can be option C 145 crores. It depends upon your assumption, but the ICA has followed it, saying that the other creditors of more than 6 months 40 crores is from the MSME, and therefore the answer is 105 crores. Since we need marks in our final examination and I want you all to be qualified as CA and come out with flying colors, I want you to answer this question as per ICAI, and therefore option B 105 crores is the correct option, right? So it all depends upon the assumption. Okay, but in examination we are not provided with any option to write the assumption that we have taken for this particular question, because these are not the theory questions, these are just to choose the correct answer options, MCQ questions, right? Therefore option B remains the correct answer. We'll follow the ICAI, no conflict. We'll assume that the 40 crores which is outstanding for more than 6 months is from the MSME only, and therefore option is. If you have any further doubts, please comment below. I'll rediscuss the point. That's all. We have completed our 12 case studies. If you find these videos helpful, please do like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get latest updates. Share with your friends and help them to revise as quickly as possible. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.